Which one are you? In 1776, 56 men signed the Declaration of Independence, declaring that, quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident," unquote. What truths exactly were these truths? The whole of the Declaration of Independence and the legitimacy of the subsequent instituted governments of the United States of America rest upon these 7 truths. The signers of the Declaration of Independence believed that those who supported these 7 truths were good people and supporters of freedom. However, those who opposed the 7 truths were against liberty as agents of dictators, tyrants, and despots. So which one are you? Do you believe the 7 truths? Well, let's examine them. And remember, everything we have today is because they signed the Declaration of Independence. The whole of it is based on these 7 truths. Think carefully and listen. Truth 1, that all people are created equal. Truth 2, all people created equal are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Now, no commentary was given about the nature of or who this Creator was believed to be. However, the previous paragraph of the Declaration of Independence declares that people have separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitles them. Therefore, it can be inferred based on the collected writings and common beliefs of that day that the implication was from a general Enlightenment deistic worldview. In other words, it was not the Jehovah of the Old Testament or Jesus of the New Testament. Truth 3, that among these endowed certain unalienable rights of the created equal people are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Pursuit of happiness is an idiomatic phrase used by Thomas Jefferson and John Locke to mean, quote, not merely the pursuit of pleasure, property, or self-interest, although it does include all of these. It is also the freedom to be able to make decisions that result in the best life possible for a human being, which includes the intellectual and moral effort. This is from pursuitofhappiness.org, The History of Happiness, John Locke. Truth 4. The governments are formed to secure these endowed certain unalienable rights of the created equal people and derive their powers only from the consent of the created equal people endowed with certain unalienable rights. Truth 5. That when any form of government becomes destructive of those endowed certain unalienable rights of the created equal people, it is the right of the people created equal and endowed with certain unalienable rights to replace that government with one that will secure those endowed certain unalienable rights of the created equal people. Truth 6. That governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. Truth 7. That created equal people endowed with certain unalienable rights are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which the created equal people endowed with certain unalienable rights are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce the created equal people endowed with certain unalienable rights to be under absolute despotism, It is the right, it is the duty of the created equal people endowed with certain unalienable rights to throw off such government and to provide new guards for the future security of the certain unalienable rights of the created equal people. 13 years later, some of the founders and the new framers succumbed to the siren song of strong central control for security and efficiency from the hierarchical theists and statists in their midst. Thus, they repudiated the immutable natural law and natural rights basis for law and justice, for a man-made mutable constitution that claimed primacy in all things. Make no mistake in thinking that this is a light matter. We as a nation are at a fork in the road together 244 years later. There are those among us who believe that government is the source of rights and liberty. They are the modern-day Tories, the Royalists, the believers in the divine rights of kings. Today, their king is government. We have come full circle in our experiment in liberty to where we started. We started from a tyrannical constitutional monarchy with a parliamentary government that reduced loyal citizens to property of the state. To, today, a tyrannical constitutional representative government that pushed out natural law and natural rights with a constitution, where it exploits the words and meanings in said constitution that assumes consent of the equal people endowed with certain unalienable rights, thereby, quote, legally, unquote, reducing the people to property of the state. True Americans will still believe in the 7 truths of freedom and liberty. They embrace these truths by believing in them and living by them to be a free American, thereby honoring the men and women who fought and died for liberty. They abhor the infringements and alienation of these 7 truths by anyone, especially government's actions. To accept and allow is to repudiate the 7 truths that started this country and dishonors the Americans who have lived and died for liberty. So, on which side do you stand? A, the promise of tranquil security by a hypocritical, intrusive government, mouthing words of liberty while taking away rights by false law, regulation, forcing you to give up your fair share in freedom for privileged benefits that rest upon you as chains of control. Or B, the 7 truths and the certain human rights endowed to an equal people that must not be infringed by your countrymen in service in government, leaving you to live the animated contest of freedom in liberty while pursuing the happiness of responsible self-ownership? The choice is yours. Which one are you? Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening. Click subscribe, and a like, and the bell if you'd like to get notifications of further videos that will be coming as we explore our perilous predicament produced by pissants and their porcine enforcers. We can win.